always love lake sailing. Lots of shifts, lots of opportunities. The big boys don't get, it's not like a drag strip for them, so yeah, gives everyone a bit more of a chance.
So what's your favourite tuning tip to get the most out of your boat?
The boat's weirdly balanced, and I think a lot of people don't look up at the mainsail enough because you can always grab a little more height than you think. And I play a lot of main sheet, use a lot of sheet tension rather than so much fang up wind generally, especially in the lake where the wind's moving a lot. You know, you've got to try and keep your sail flowing all the time. Most people sail with a boat with way too much heel. You've got to be flat, if not a little bit of winded heel. It really makes the boats go upwind.
We've all become a great bunch of friends. We're spread out over the eastern seaboard of Australia, and we look forward to catching up in places like here in Wallagoot.
So what's your favourite tuning tip to get the most out of your boat?
Sail them flat. Just sail them flat upwind. Just be mindful that you've got to be prepared to make gear changes. If you can see the weather changing, anticipate it. If you can see the gust coming, set the boat up so that you're not instantly heeling, that the boat's responding quickly to the gust, and then maximise everything you can from it. But it comes from sailing the boat flat, particularly upwind.
Who's your biggest rival or mate in the RS100s?
Easily the biggest rival is David Williamson. Peter Milne also is very quick. Peter's really quick, but seems to every now and then have a little bit of spill. David just doesn't make any mistakes. And a couple of times yesterday I finished close to him, but probably about the same distance he made on the first beat. So he just seems to start well and get the first beat underway and then controls the fleet from there. So he's sailing pretty smart.
And what do you think makes the RS100 community unique?
It's an older group who just enjoy sailing. It's a type of boat where you think you've got everything mastered, but you go out one day and it all falls apart, or you capsize, etc. So there's a lot of banter, there's a lot of friendliness, there's a lot of play,
And how long have you been sailing the RS100?
Probably about 6 months now, sort of probably the second or third regatta after the Victorian States last year and the Nationals at Ballina, and up to here for a bit of a challenge.
Well, you're up there now. You've got some great boat speed and you've been up the front a few times.
Just a bit of practice and sort of getting familiar with the boat and helping, getting a lot of help from other people in the class has been really good.
What's it like sailing at Lake Wallagoot? What's a few of your memorable moments?
The most memorable moments for me are big nor'easters when it comes over the hill, onto the water, and it's really strong down the other end of the bay, and you survive the race.
What really attracts you to the RS100?
Mate, I sort of grew up doing VJs and skates on the Swan River, so for me it was just put the kite up and go wherever the wind's blowing and just scream around the place. I saw this boat and I said, oh mate, this looks like so much fun, and bought a brand new one, never sailed one, and brought it to Ballina and loved it ever since. It's just like the perfect boat in terms of, my age and ability and physicality. I can handle it, but it's not like over the top, like, having a Mustang skiff or something like that where you're on the wire and it's like huge sails and crazy, too big for the river.
And you can still get a good ride?
Mate, so good. Like,
Yeah.
When it's like 25 knots and you put the kite up in nor'east and you're screaming down the river,
you got some
all
on.
the way out. It's just like, whoa, 20 knots. Like, I love it.
Yeah, good machine. Any tips for someone who wants to get into the class?
I think the best thing you can do is like stay close to some guys that are doing it already. Like get some tips. If you're away somewhere, come to a regatta and just like ask lots of questions. And everyone's here to help, you know. And it's a challenging boat, but it's something that you can grow into and learn more and more all the time. Because even after I've been sailing over a decade, and I'm still learning. And there's still stuff I don't know, and I'm picking up.
Yeah, it's good to go to regattas like this. You really learn a lot over a couple of days, eh?
Yeah, actually, it's good. You get that feel for where it was. I came away from Ballina understanding that I've got good boat speed, but I've got a lot of work to do on my tactics and just my boat handling in tacks and jibes and things like that. So, yeah, went away and wrote up a little bit of a plan. Okay, this is what I've got to focus on.
If you were to give some advice to somebody just coming into the class, what would that be?
Don't give up. It can be challenging when you first get going, but once you get the hang of it, it's well worth it. It's well worth paying, just hanging in there, and everyone helps one another. So yeah, I've found it to be a pretty easy class to move your way forward as long as you persevere. You've got to persevere. So don't give up would be my biggest tip.
How are you enjoying sailing the RS 100 now?
Yeah, it's really nice to sail. I've sailed quite a lot of different boats. One of my favourite boats to sail.
Yeah, so you're pretty keen to keep going, are you?
Yeah, definitely.
If you were going to give some advice to someone who's just starting in the class, what advice would you give them?
They need to have a bit of weight and a bit of height on them.
Yeah.
For the little guys, it's a bit of a struggle, I find it anyway. You've got to keep the boat flat and you've got to really work it hard. They're not very forgiving. You know, they also are very rewarding when everything goes right. So it's just perseverance, I think, and talk to people in the class. Don't hesitate to ask questions because the guys will give you advice anyway. So I think that's probably the best takeaway if you want to come and find out what they're like, take them for a sail, and then just ask questions. Better ask a dumb question than no question.